say, well done, Daddy.
Well done, Daddy.
Well done, Daddy. How many games has Daddy played? Do you know?
300.
300, you know. 300 games. Say, well done, Daddy.
Well done, Daddy.
He's on the verge of his 300th game. This for number 700. And all the applause are for you, Jack.
I mean, 300 games, I know that the journey still continues and we're by no means at the end. But what a milestone. It's an incredible achievement, it's an incredible effort, and I take my hat off to you. It's really special in the club's history, but more importantly, I think your family would be really proud of what you've managed to do.
What I love about you, Jack, is the bigger the game, the bigger the moment, the better that you seem to play. You love the occasion, you always rise to it. Such a great teammate, caring. Had a lot of good memories over the years, mate. None better than watching you sing with the Killers, Grand Final Day 2017.
And Jack has 10! Riewoldt kicks one from the boundary. Riewoldt! And Jack puts it through. He's the man for the big occasion.
Congratulations, Jack, on your 300 games. A mighty effort. So proud of you. But my favourite moment of your career was winning the 2017 Grand Final. Great game. So exciting.
My vote goes to either the Killers or the mark you took a couple of weeks ago. And I think I'm going to go for the mark.
Riewoldt with the flights.
Congratulations. Cheers, mate. Thumbs up.
Hey mate, congrats on reaching your 300th game this weekend. My favourite moment by far would be the singing with the Killers after the 2017 Grand Final. But if you do us a favour, mate, stop playing it every time we come over to your house.
Hey Jack, congratulations on your 300th, mate. One of my favourite performances throughout your career would have been the 10-goal effort against West Coast. I can remember by quarter time you'd already been matched up against 4 different defenders.
For number 10, the new hero has double figures.
G'day mate, congratulations on 300 this week. Who would have thought when you first arrived in the Fox Footy studios as a little rat bag, you turn into the mature person that you are. Congratulations, well done on 700 goals too, fantastic effort.
You've certainly come a long way from jumping fences, avoiding the media, to now sitting on the desk more often than not in the biggest footy show in the country, AFL 360. But funny how things change, but I'll never forget that moment we shared in 2019. We won the premiership, and then the week later I won the Bathurst 1000 with you there, and you being the drunkest man on the mountain at the time, but we'll forget about that. But it was a lot of fun, and you're a great addition to us and the team.
You're a great person. You've been an amazing leader of our footy club for a long period of time, and that will continue to be the case. I can't wait to run out there alongside you in your 300th game.
We love you. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
How exciting. Love you. Say, go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
That's a lot to take in, a beautiful journey that we've shared half of at the desk, but Jack's loved ones all having their say. It's a bit to load onto you, Jack, but congratulations and welcome.
Yeah, thanks, boys. Wow. Yeah, thank you for everyone that's been a part of that. That was really special. Yeah, thanks.
It's a big week, and Nick and your dad are here with us to reflect as well. It's also a short week and there's a lot happening. So I have wondered, are you going to be able to take it in? Is there a moment for reflection and nostalgia in it all?
You're right, it's a short week, fitting a lot of things in, and I was pretty early on, and sort of I know how important it is to the club, as well as myself and obviously my family and everyone that's been a part of my journey. So it's not one that you can sort of just brush by and say, yeah, won't just play it low key. So there's a lot of things to cover, but it's going to be an incredible journey over the next few days leading into the game Friday night. And what's not lost on me is that the importance of Friday night for us for our football club more than anything, that we need to get back on track a little bit.
I love milestone games because we see an emotion in players that we very rarely see. I was watching that montage then, and you started crying. There's two families in all footballers' lives. There's your footy family, and then there's your family. What do you feel more closer to in milestone games? Do you think you give time to think about your family, your mum and dad, and Carly and the kids, or do you spend it thinking about your football journey?
I think it's probably a lot of reflection, Robbo, and I think like you fight away the end of your career, and I've probably been in that little mental battle for probably the start of certainly this year. Just thinking that the end's coming, and I know that I'm closer to the end than I am at the start. So there's been a lot of thoughts go through my mind about, oh, this could be the last time I do this, but this week's been one where I've just sort of really started to play a few memories back in my mind, and Carly's done an amazing job and actually kept a scrapbook and Dad has as well, of nearly every article I've been involved in.
Even the good ones? Even the bad ones?
All of them, most of them bad. But it's amazing when you just look back through even old score lists and the memories that it brings back, and even just parts of games that you think would be you'd never think about them ever again. Yeah. But you read a little scoreline, you read a highlight, and you go, holy crap! Like that actually happened. And 15 years has gone very, very fast, And I saved this story because I didn't want to tell anyone else this, that was against Port Adelaide, who this story involves. I remember at draft camp 2006, and Choco Williams asked me in my interview, and he was known for being a very abrupt interviewer of young men. He goes, how many games are you going to play? And I was pretty cheeky, as you guys know, and as a lot of people that watch the show would know, and I said to him, I'll play 300. And he goes, oh, yeah, righty, eh? He goes, you know only 1% of players ever play 300 games. I said, yeah, I've got that covered. And sure enough, it's kind of bloody come true. I can't believe it, yeah.
You're a cocky bastard, aren't you?
Yeah,
not cocky, just...
I was very forward as a young man, and very, very confident, and I think it helped me get through early on in my career, yeah.
Why? Do you know? Do you know what the source of the confidence was?
I think my mother's fairly confident, so there's some sort of genetics, I think, to do with that. But I grew up, I loved sport as a kid and just loved playing, and I've been blessed to have some great role models in my life, especially at football. Obviously, Rui was probably my hero growing up as a kid, and probably still my hero today. And I had Jade Rawlings. I played footy with Jade Rawlings when I was 17 years of age, when I was playing for the Tassie Devils, and they were aligned to North Melbourne. So I got a great AFL experience there before I even was drafted. And then when I sat under Matthew Richardson for 3 years, and three great Tasmanian champion forwards were basically at my beckoning call to ask them anything I wanted to do. So I was very fortunate, yeah.
When you started, you may not answer this, but when you started, you were Nick's cousin.
Yeah.
But you absolutely forged your own identity and career. 300 games, 700 goals, 3 Colemans, three flags. You're coming to the end, and you are Jack Riewoldt. It's now the Riewolds. It's not Nick and Jack, or that's Jack's cousin, that's Nick's cousin, Jack. How proud of you? I know you're proud of your career, but how proud of you to forge your own identity going through your career?
I still get called Nick a fair bit down Church Street when I go to do the shopping. But
you wear white runners as well.
Yeah. White runners, and my journey's been it's been a bloody hell of a ride. Like I look at the way it's happened, and current form probably isn't great, but I'm so glad that I experienced the real hardships of finishing last, not winning a lot of games, even down to training in sort of substandard facilities at Punt Road, and everything that came with that I've actually now been able to see what it's like on the other side, and what it's like to win in a premiership, to be in an A-grade facility, to be in a club that just has an amazing culture, and develop friendships through that I'll have forever and ever. So I'm glad that's the way it's happened. I'm glad that it's been the hardship and then been able to have the highlight. Yeah.
If I've done the maths right, you'd played 151 games when you came and joined us, and 149 we've shared together since. And there is a delineation in the career. Our first year together was 2016, and that was the year where we all sat here and wondered whether it was actually ever going to happen.
You probably wondered whether I was going to turn up every weekend.
And then it happens. Can you feel the phases of your career? Is it one continuous journey? Is it half and half, where all the hardships and the setbacks are there, and then this glorious period it's come to fruition?
It's probably the last 5 years is certainly separated from... Even probably there's the first 5 years, which we were obviously had played under Terry Wallace, and then a couple of years under Dimmer, where we really struggled and we finished down the bottom of the ladder, and always dreamt of what it'd be like to play finals. And then there was a period through that middle part where we played finals and we would lose in the first week of the finals, and then it was like, wonder if we could ever win and get through and just get our chance. And 2016 happened, and then there's been a big shift and a massive shift since then, where it's been we win finals and ultimately we've won 3 premierships as well.
I like your brothers talking about your highlight of your career.
They've just taken the chance on national TV to take a bit of a dig. Well, Charlie certainly has.
That's what brothers do. Isn't it funny? You're such a scallywag and you're such a champion of the game, but you're so sort of, you hold a warm spot with football, because crawling up the stairs at the MCG when you were knocked out.
Can we do them one at a time?
Yeah,
because there should be a part roast to this. So we've made you...
Of course it's going to be a roast.
Part roast.
How long does this segment go for?
Let's go to the train station.
Oh, that was my second one, the train station.
So let's go there. What are your recollections of this afternoon in 2014?
This is so that's John Vickery running beside me in the what I thought was... Well, I'd made a blue.
You jumped the fence, didn't you?
I made a blue at a press conference a couple of days earlier and sort of said something that I shouldn't have said in terms of the game plan. And then, it blew up from there. And they wanted to sneak me out. John Vickery was supposed to have my car down around near the Tiger Superstore at Punt Road there, and he parked in the wrong spot. So I jumped the fence. And as I landed, I jumped the fence with a laptop and I was holding thongs over a barbed wire fence, which I thought is a pretty bloody good effort, to be honest. And I landed and just had this moment where I looked into this car on Brunton Avenue there, and I saw Mark Stevens looking at me from the car. So I literally jumped down, and the car that I stood right in front of was Mark Stevens. And next thing you know, the media came hooting around the corner there and got into the train station. I didn't have a Mikey. Went and sat up in the station, waited for about an hour, just sitting there, didn't get on a train, and thought, bloody hell, what have I done? What have I done? But funnily enough, I took that Mikey along, and we had a comedy day maybe about 6 weeks after that, and we auctioned it off. It had $5 of credit on it. Someone bought it for $440. That Mikey. So
the crawl.
The crawl.
It's not my favourite. My favourite's coming, but
the crawl.
People, look at this. How old are you there, Jack?
That's 2011, and that is against the Saints actually. I got knocked out in the first quarter and bounced my head up to try and take a hanger, and came back and thought I was right to go back on the ground. And I can remember just mouthing, I was like, Dimmer, trying to get his attention, because Dimmer was coaching from the sidelines at that point. And then went out and I tried to make myself look like I was right, having a bit of a kick and stuff like that, and then got told I wasn't going back on, and sat there with a bit of a frown in the back row for the rest of the game. And the game was a draw, actually, so...
So it gets replayed routinely
because it's a draw. So it's funny, when we played the Saints about 3 weeks ago, it was on a Thursday night. So they play... Fox Footy here played a lot of the games through, and I just get a barrage of the younger players. Liam Baker, Jaden Short, living at home. They live at home together, and they're texting me footage of it coming through, and it's like, am I going to relive this every time this game's on?
The greatest thing I've seen a player do was get on stage with the Killers after the grand final. Every time the song comes on, like everyone I know, they think of you.
Yeah.
Someone said you put it on at your house all the time. You'll say that's a lie, but it's not a lie.
It's certainly not true. That was Charlie. I've been banned from singing this, actually. Carly's black banned me from singing. I think I sung it at our wedding. And I've sung it at a couple of post-grand final celebrations in 2019 and maybe 2020. I can't really remember much of 2020, to be honest. But, it's just...
It's awesome.
It was so much fun. And I remember Rory Sloane texted me about a month after it all happened. And he goes, I am so jealous of you. You've lived... my favourite band is the Killers, and we obviously beat Adelaide in that grand final. He goes, you've lived my ultimate day. He goes, I'm so jealous of you. And we bonded over that and played a little bit of footy in the pre-season games together. And it was one hell of a day, that one.
And you've lived the full spectrum. That's how it appears to me. So 300 games gives you a long time, but you have lived the whole lot, from the clown to the darling, from the misery to the ultimate joy, and all that we've seen in between. Do you have a sense of that?
Yeah, and I think ultimately the one thing I'm most proud of myself is that I reckon I've gone from being a selfish player and not ultimately selfish, but not understanding what it's like to be a great team player, to what I feel like is one of my greatest strengths now, is that I'm certainly one of our best team players in terms of the way I go about it. Changed my whole mindset on how I wanted to play football and what I wanted to be known for. And I suppose it's sort of coincided with reaching that ultimate success as well as a team.
Might have coincided, but it's not coincidental. So good genes, that helps. So Cabbage is half responsible for this. So Chris, your dad, has come in to join us. So he's a legend of Tassie footy, and I know you won the best and fairest that's named in his honour at Clarence. Chris, welcome. What's your sense of your son reaching 300 games?
Oh, immensely proud. It's wonderful achievement, and it's something I never ever dreamt that he would be, getting to. And most people say, if your son goes and plays AFL football, you'd be happy if they played one game. But he's been, really, really, productive in the way he's played. He's been able to win best and fairest and goal kicking. He's an All-Australian, and it's just over a 300-game period. That's just a huge effort to, get all those accolades and also play all those games.
Take us back to Clarence, take us back to Tasmania. When did you think, Cabbage, that Jack had it in him, that A, he was a good footballer, and B, he could be an AFL player?
Through his junior career, he didn't start playing till pretty late, but he played his first senior game of football in Tasmania with the Clarence Football Club when he was 15. And I remember in his first game him getting a kick on the boundary line about 45 out from goals and then kicking it through the goals. And I was with a guy called Scott Wade. He used to play with Hawthorn. He used to be the general manager of Tasmanian football. I said, he's going to be all right, your boy. So, probably then I knew he was...
It's funny, Robbo. I can distinctly remember Dad, I might have been 16 years of age, and Dad was a bloody handy player. He only played 297 games for Clarence, so he couldn't hang in.
Only 297, Cabbage.
And the BNF's named after Dad, and I've got the 19s BNF, so maybe I could move up to the 2s sometime soon. But Dad said to me, he goes, I think you might have me covered as a player. And I would have been maybe 16 or 17, and I can vividly remember that conversation we had in the lounge room.
It's a monumental statement, isn't it?
He goes, I think you might be a bit better than I was. And I was like, holy crap, like it's...
Because he was your hero, I know, and you say Nick's your hero. Your dad's...
Yeah, my first ever football memory is... so our family home is literally 500 metres away from Belrive Oval, where the Clarence Football Club's based, and as Dad said, I started playing senior footy there when I was 15 and was lucky enough to play in a premiership in my last year when I was 17, before I left to come to Melbourne. But back in the old days, so sort of maybe... early 90s, I say old days, early 90s, the club rooms were on the opposite side of the hill, so down the bottom of our street. And my first ever football memory is being on the shoulders of the old man there when I was maybe 4 or 5, being carried up the hill after he'd won a pewter mug for a best on ground. So that's what you used to get at the Clarence Footy Club back in the day. So I'll never ever forget that.
Good memory.
And Nick, illustrious 336-game career. Is he a worthy member of your club?
Oh, I mean, it was inevitable. It was inevitable. There are certain things that I've been able to tick off, and just one by one, along he comes and he ticks them off. I thought, he's got his flags, at least I've got 700 goals. Well, he ticked that off last week. 300 games. So even the mark. Like, I had the mark. That was the one thing that I had. And he was able to come along this year and tick that off. I was watching, I couldn't believe it. But I was so proud as a family. I mean, it's interesting, when he came into the league, I'd been around for half a dozen years already, but it's so it's always sort of we've always had that relationship and that friendship in the shared experience, but you go into another club and that's your family. That becomes your family. So to have seen him ride that journey with the Richmond Football Club from when they were, and my whole time in footy, basically my last year was the emergence of Richmond from a long slumber. I had no concept of what Jack was a part of at Richmond, because in my time in footy, I'd never seen it. I'd never seen them become the juggernaut that they've become over the last 5 years. And for Jack to have played such a massive role in it, it's just been so much fun to watch. And now on the other side of it, it's been a lens, to keep us all connected as a family, I think, in the game, which has been amazing.
Do you ever talk when you have a few beers together about having kicked a kick in the backyard when you visited families and you were whatever age you were?
We both just thought of the same story.
We both thought the exact same thing then. We tried this one year. What year? I reckon it was like 2008 at Orford on the East Coast. They've got a tiny little school. It's a tiny little town. The oval's maybe 60 metres long, and there's a set of goalposts. And we had a 3-on-3 or a 4v4. And I partially tore my ACL. So I didn't do a full ACL.
On me.
I didn't do a full ACL, but I had a partially torn ACL and made it back for the start of the 09 season. So it was a good question, Robbo. You asked for one more. And so I reckon that was the last time. Yeah. It was the last time. But the boys now, whenever Jack comes over, I mean, James told me the other day I'm now the third best footballer in our family. Jack's number one, James says he's number two, and I'm number three. So the boys love it.